Are your people working hard but not reaching their full potential? The problem is not effort, it is development. At the Modern Observer Group, we transform workforce development into real performance. Our human-centered achievement programs help your team think better, communicate stronger, and execute at a higher level. That means higher employee engagement, stronger leadership, and measurable results across your organization. If you want a workforce that performs, leads, and delivers, it is time to invest in your people. Visit modernobserver.com and discover how the Modern Observer Group helps you build a workforce that wins.
Iran talks prove challenging. The U.S. pushes towards more nuclear power. Oil prices dropping and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. President Trump and Iran are openly clashing over whether Tehran agreed to international nuclear inspections, a flashpoint in the fragile deal meant to end the 4-month war. Iran's foreign ministry said there are no plans to let inspectors examine its nuclear sites, contradicting Vice President J.D. Vance, while Trump insisted Tehran fully agreed. Meanwhile, the United Nations Maritime Agency launched a plan to evacuate more than 11,000 seafarers stranded in the Persian Gulf as traffic through the Strait of Hormuz slowly returns. The U.S. House on Tuesday voted 358 to 32 in favor of an affordable housing bill aimed at lowering costs for home buyers and reining in institutional investors, sending the package to President Donald Trump's desk. The legislation, dubbed the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, is a rare bipartisan measure in a deeply divided Congress. It advanced out of the Senate on Monday night by a vote of 85 to 5, after months of debate and different versions being negotiated between the House and Senate. Lawmakers struck a final deal on the legislation last week. Trump is scheduled to sign the legislation at the Capitol on Wednesday, ahead of a planned meeting with Senate Republicans, according to House Speaker Mike Johnson's office. The Energy Department announced Tuesday that it will loan $17.5 billion to fast-track 10 large nuclear reactors, betting on surging electricity demand from the data centers powering artificial intelligence. The money would back 5 projects, each building 2 reactors, using Westinghouse's AP1000 design, and marks one of the largest efforts by the agency's revamped financing office, which earlier this year canceled nearly $30 billion in clean energy loans approved under former President Biden. Energy Secretary Chris Wright said the financing would drive down costs and could speed deployment by up to 3 years, calling the risk to taxpayers very low. Officials hope construction begins by 2030, with the reactors coming online in the mid-2030s. Oil extended losses on Wednesday as concerns over potential supply disruptions eased, while investors monitored developments in the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz. International benchmark Brent crude futures for August fell 1.7% to $75.81 per barrel, notching its lowest level since February 27th. A day before the start of the U.S. and Israeli-led war against Iran. U.S. West Texas Intermediate futures for August were last seen 1.6% lower at $72.02 per barrel. President Donald Trump on Wednesday criticized oil companies for not lowering gasoline prices in line with the recent decline in crude prices. Alphabet will replace Verizon in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, S&P Global said Tuesday, further expanding megacap technology's presence in the blue chip average. S&P Global said the parent company of Google's shares, which trade under the ticker GOOGL, would take the spot in the 30 stock index ahead of the start of Monday's trading. Shares of the online search giant rose about 1% after the bell on Tuesday, following the announcement. The company will join megacap tech peers NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft in the blue chip index. S&P Global said Alphabet's inclusion would bolster the Dow's exposure to themes like artificial intelligence, cloud infrastructure, and advertising. That's the Raw Naked Truth for June 24th, 2026. Remember to like and subscribe to the Raw Naked Truth wherever you listen to podcasts. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.